Hey, Gator fans! We are here today with a very special treat. Zach Abolverdi from On Three. Did I butcher your name, Zach, or did I do it right? I butcher it,
No,
I feel like, every time you're on with me.
you're close enough.
Close
You're not the
enough?
only
Say
one.
it.
It's
Say it
been
for me.
butchered my whole life.
I know. I get that. But say it. Say it for me.
Abolverdi.
Abolverdi. So like apple
Abolverdi.
green. That's what
Yeah, there you
Abolverdi.
go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're here with Zach from On Three. He has gotten to experience spring practice a little bit firsthand. We want to know everything that you're hearing and what you're seeing. And I know it's early, but is there anybody that has surprised you already?
Yeah, it's first of all, it's nice to just be back out on the field. Appreciate you guys for having me and we just talked so much over the offseason about coaching changes, roster turnover,
Hmm.
NIL. It's just nice to be back to football
Yeah.
and actually watch the team on the field. Yeah, I mean, I think obviously there's a lot of storylines with this team, a lot of new coaches,
Hmm.
especially on the defensive side of the ball, a new strength coach, and then obviously you got a lot of new pieces, but you also got a lot of guys back, and I think
Yeah.
that's one of the things that has Napier and the staff most excited or encouraged about this team is that they are a more veteran team for the first
Mhm.
time since he's been at UF. So, you see guys like, Graham Mertz, Justice Boone, Shamar James, like
Mhm.
those kind of leaders back is a big deal, especially at the quarterback position. That's they haven't had their returning starting quarterback since 2020. It's been 4
Right.
years. So to see Graham out there is huge, but also the guy standing right next to him is kind of a big deal too. DJ Lagway, I think all eyes are on him the first 2 days. The nation's number one consensus quarterback. He looks the part. Obviously, he's in a really good spot, being able to learn from Graham this spring. No doubt that he's going to be his backup. But then there's a lot of other new pieces as well. New high school early enrollees that have showed up. LJ McCrae's certainly jumped out. And then you got a lot of transfers that I think will probably start on both sides of the ball, or at least be in contention for starting jobs. And a lot of that's going to get sorted out this spring.
Okay, so you hit on a lot of the names that I want to talk about. Let's talk a little bit more about the Graham Mertz, DJ Lagway relationship. Is there anything that you've noticed? Like, are they interacting out there? Graham's in an interesting position, right? Because he is the returning starter. He's the leader of this team. But all right, so this relationship reminds me of one we have seen in the past. 2006, we had Chris Leak, and everybody was clamoring for Tim Tebow. When he got there, wanted to see this, miracle kid that Urban Meyer had coming in. And I feel like it feels a little bit right like that right now. Like people are hanging their hopes and Napier's future, honestly, on DJ Lagway. And that's a lot of pressure on Mertz and on Lagway. How is their relationship looking though?
Yeah, it's an interesting dynamic, and there's definitely some shades of 2006. Although I would say, while DJ Lagway is as decorated of a recruit as Tim Tebow is and as hyped, I don't think that Mertz had the background that Leak had. He was coming off of a 9-win season in 2005,
Mhm.
had done a bunch of things already at UF, and people still wanted to see Tebow.
Yeah.
So you're going to get some of that with these two. But look, Billy has made it very clear, at least to me, that this is Graham Mertz's team. This is Graham
Mhm.
Mertz's year. That he is one of the reasons why they are most excited about
Yeah.
this roster and their potential. So any type of quarterback controversy or conversation about roles and stuff like that, I think that can just get erased, because while that may be something that fans harp on throughout the offseason, maybe even into the fall, I don't think that it's going to be much of a thing that's entertained inside the building, because I think they know what their roles are and
Sure.
what's going to happen moving forward. Graham is clearly QB1,
Mhm.
but he is also a guy that, when you look back on his career at Wisconsin, he, came in as a not as highly recruited as DJ Lagway was, but he came in as a guy that had to have somebody else take him under his wing, show him the ropes. And so he knows that that's something that he's got to do as a redshirt senior with DJ, and he's taken that on really well. I think that when you look at DJ, the fact that he's an early enrollee and gets to go through spring with Graham and go through these 15 practices, that's really going to set him up for success in the future. And then obviously, once you get to the fall, you're going to see him on the field,
Yeah.
whether that's packages, whether that's moments that they put him in the game where they feel like he can do something that Graham can't. Obviously, mop up duty, he's going to be able to again get
Sure.
in, but I don't think it's just going to be that. I think that he is a weapon. They're going to find ways to incorporate him in the offense, but as it makes sense, right? And I definitely don't think Graham is going to be somebody whatsoever that is going to mind coming out of the game for a few plays or for a series so that DJ, one, can get the experience,
Mm.
and two, help the team out.
Yeah.
Like Graham is a total team player in that way. So however it manifests and whatever it looks like, I think both of these guys will be supportive of each other. I don't think there's going to be any egos involved.
Mhm.
Um, you know, these are good Christian kids that believe in Billy, that are accept their roles, and I just don't think that there's going to be any issue there whatsoever. In fact, I just think it's going to be nothing but benefits for both
Yeah.
parties. And what a fortunate situation for Florida to be in, because Graham Mertz did even get some grades as high as the third round. He could have come out if he wanted
Mhm.
to. And the fact that he decided to come back
Yeah.
is going to bode well for DJ's future, and then obviously the Gators in the short term.
Well, and I think what you just said there is something that's important to note. I have talked to DJ Lagway's quarterbacks coach, his high school coach, his dad, him personally throughout this journey. And all of them think that the best thing for his development is to come along slowly and learn from Mertz. So I don't think you're right when you say neither camp is concerned about their roles. They know what they're
Yeah.
supposed to do. So this is truly fan created, because the best possible thing for DJ Lagway, which in turn is the best possible thing for Florida, is for him to be allowed time to adapt to the speed of the college game and truly learn from somebody who is a great leader. And I think that we will see some interesting packages, just like we saw for Tim in 2006. And, I don't think we win that national championship without Leak in the role that he's in. And I am in no way implying that Florida is going to be playing for national title this year, but I think that Florida's success, whatever it will be this season, is based largely on Mertz as opposed to Lagway.
I think for Florida to improve its win total, for them to have a successful 24 season where Billy continues into the future,
Mhm.
I think that that's probably going to have to require some contributions from DJ, whatever that looks like.
Yeah.
And then not only is that going to set them up in 2024 to potentially improve their win total,
Yep.
but it's certainly going to set them up for 2025 if he can get that experience under his belt, get his feet wet. It is one of the positions to like most about this football team, no question.
Let's talk a little bit about the other side of the ball. Florida has some things to be excited about on defense as well. Pup Howard and Joey Slackman are two guys that, transferred in. There's been a lot of buzz around them. What have you seen out of those guys so far that makes you excited?
I'll add Asa Turner in there as well. I mean, you're talking about three guys at all three levels of the defense that could potentially start. I think two for sure will, and I think that's there's no doubt that you guys needed to see improvement from each of those spots. They lost Scooby Williams to Texas A&M. Just going off of his PFF grade, he was the worst tackler on Florida's defense last season. Now he's still an experienced starter and somebody that you're going to have to replace. So to go get a guy in Pup Howard who looks like $1 million getting off the bus, and you can tell why he was one of Florida's top linebacker targets in the 2023 class.
Yeah.
You got some veterans there, and Manny Nunnery and Derek Wingo as well at the Mike linebacker position, but I've in my pre-spring depth chart projections, I put Pup as a guy that I think is going to eventually start next to Shamar, and his upside is through the roof. And then obviously you add Asa Turner there. You were at one point last season, we're starting two true freshman safeties in Bryce Thornton and Jordan Castell. And while Jordan had a all SEC freshman season, led the team in tackles, they needed to get more experience at those spots. And I think to get Asa Turner, as well as the other two DBs that they signed at safety, all three redshirt seniors, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
But I think Turner is kind of the guy that's leading that pack. Started two college football playoff games this past season, and now comes over to start in the secondary for Florida at safety. And then Joey Slackman, you know, I think that there's really not much that's going to change with the nose tackle position on Florida's defensive line. You've got Cam Jackson, you've got Desmond Watson. I think Jamari Lyons could probably push maybe a little bit for more playing time. But at the end spot on Florida's defensive line, it is an open competition. Like Caleb
Mhm.
Banks started there last year, but you add Joey Slackman, who was the number 2 defensive lineman in the transfer portal, according to On3's rankings. And then you move Kelby Collins from edge to defensive line, and he's playing that end spot with Caleb Banks, with Joey Slackman. That's some competition there. That's a
Yeah.
salty room. So I think that Florida should just be better up front because of that. I think that upside wise, Pup Howard has a lot more of it than Scooby Williams, and then you add Asa Turner to the safety position to kind of shore up the secondary. So there's a lot to like about those 3 transfers specifically. I think the star position is a little bit of a question mark still because you lost Shaden Hill. But there's a lot to like about those 3 guys.
Let's talk for a second about LJ McCray. I know that Lagway gets all the fanfare, but McCray is somebody who honestly may contribute even more so
Oh, he
than
will.
Lagway
He
this year.
will.
And he looks the part right now as what, a 17-year-old kid that should be getting ready for prom. What have you seen out of him so far?
Yeah, he's in another really loaded position group that's
Yeah.
got Justice Boone, Tyreek Sapp, who started all last season in Justice Boone's place, Brian Taylor, a junior college signee, and then also Cameron James, who, according to sources that we talked to, is kind of coming to life this offseason. So there's a lot of bodies there. That being said, talking to Ron Roberts on Saturday, he said LJ is going to play as a freshman. What that looks like, how often they get him on the field, maybe certain down packages. He's clearly looks the part, but at the same time, he's still a high school early enrollee that's has to learn his way in spring ball. And just
Yeah.
spending some time with the edge group on Saturday and watching Mike Peterson work with him, he took some extra time out to really hone in on McCray's technique. He basically made him do one of the drills over and over until he got it right. Now he did that with some other guys as well. I'm not singling out LJ, but
Sure.
this is his time right now in spring to learn all those nuances, to get the playbook down, to kind of carve out a role so that once he gets to the fall, he can try to play fast as he can. But of all the freshmen in Florida's 2024 class, he is without a doubt the most likely to play in the fall. And I'm saying that knowing that room is loaded, I still think he's going to find a way on the field.
Well, Zach, this was awesome. Thank you so much for joining me. I completely appreciate it. Tell everybody where they can check out your work.
Yes, you guys can go to gatorsonline.com to read me, Nick, Corey, and Keith. Obviously, this is a busy time of year with spring football, recruiting visits happening. March Madness is coming up, so I'll be covering the NCAA tournament for the first time. So I'm looking forward to that. So definitely encourage you guys to come check out our site if you're not subscribed already. You can just get in the door for $1 to check out all of our work, and it'll be worth your time.
All right. Well, we appreciate you. Have a great day.
Appreciate it, Allie. Thanks for having me.